Hello and welcome to a bonus episode of Hockey Inside Out. Now, the trade deadline is quickly approaching. Do you think the Canadiens should trade Mike Matheson? I know this has been something that's been discussed on social media quite a bit through Habs fans. Do you think that this is the right way to go? Andrew?
I think if somebody wows you, maybe. But he's a player with 2 years left on his deal at a very reasonable cap number. His fitness level is absolutely off the charts. I don't see any fall off in his game in terms of like him losing it, right? So I don't think there's a rush. If someone offers you the world, of course, right? But that's the easy answer to every trade proposal. But in terms of actively shopping, I don't see the need right now. I see Matheson as a player who's very much a bridge player between the rebuild and actually competing. And I'm not sure what this team would look like without him right now. I think it would be very, very tough sledding to transition the puck up the ice and a lot of pressure on those young rookies who already have a lot of pressure on them. So it would be a tough one for me.
A big no for me. I mean, these type of players with this kind of skill set don't come around that often. And there's a classic example of a guy that can do a lot of things really well at that position. I would just love to see him be, a little more concerned about his play on the defensive side, to be a little more committed to playing defense on occasion. But overall, there's a guy that is a big plus to have him back there. He loves it in Montreal. He loves everything about this opportunity to be part of the Canadiens. And, it's tough to replace guys like that. And he's a big asset to have there on the blue line. And he plays a lot of minutes, plays a lot of critical situations. And, aside from a few areas that he does struggle with, overall, just a great player back there.
Yeah, I'm with you, Rick. I'm a no, but as Andrew said, if they offer 4 first round, some ridiculous offer, yeah, you got to listen. But people want to trade. So many Canadians fans see on social media, they want to trade everybody who's good for draft picks. Well, if you keep trading good players for draft picks all the time, you're going to be constantly rebuilding. You're never going to. You need some veterans to mix in with the kids. Matheson ranks 3rd in the NHL in total ice time. He plays a ton of minutes. And Andrew, as you said, he's the most physically fit guy in the team at 29 years old. I mean, he can play 35 minutes a game. He's still going to be effective 5 years down the road. That's not going away. People focus on some of his giveaways. He's minus 16, but he's playing on a team that really struggles offensively. They don't have forwards who can score. And Marty St. Louis has basically given him free reign. Like, they need him, as you said, Andrew. They need him to carry the puck up the ice. They need him to try and get it in the offensive zone. They need him to take risks because they just don't have offense, and they're putting a lot of pressure on him to do that. Once they get more offense up front, or hopefully they do in the future, that'll be limited a bit. I mean, Marty will tell Matheson to put a little bit of a tighter leash on him. But for now, he's basically got free reign because they need somebody to create offense. He's 29 years old, but his fitness is not an issue. He's got 2 years left on his contract, $4.875 million. It's a very digestible contract, a good contract for a guy who plays that many minutes. 2 years from now, when the contract is coming to an end, by that point, the Canadiens might have a better idea if Lane Hutson can be the Mike Matheson type of player in the NHL. And if at that time you realize he can, or somebody else can, then maybe you look at trading him at the deadline then, depending on where the Canadiens are in the playoff push by that time. But I would not be shopping Mike Matheson. And as Rick said also, he grew up here. He loves it here. He wants to be here. He's liked by his teammates. There's a reason why there's an A on his sweater. There's some negatives, with the giveaways and that. But again, that's because they're asking him to do much. But there's so many positives with Mike Matheson. Not a lot of defensemen in the NHL can do what he does. And if he leaves, who's going to do it? Maybe Lane Hutson. Maybe. But we don't know that for sure. That's a big jump going from the NCAA, especially for a small defenseman like him. And 2 years from now, as I said, if Lane Hutson can be that guy, then I think you'd still get a lot for Mike Matheson in a trade if you wanted to deal him then.
Totally
agree. You definitely need to have a few of those.
There's something to be said about professional habits too, right? I think you need those veterans around those kids to show them like, yeah, you've gotten this far. on skill, and you worked hard in junior. For sure you did to get to this level. But there's a different level of working hard when you're at the NHL. This is the top of this sport, and you have to understand that. And some veterans need to be around on those teams to get those kids bought in on that. And I feel like Mike Matheson is just a great person for that because of his fitness level, because of his commitment, because of how hard he plays every single game. So I'm just not jumping at the gun to trade this player.
No, I was
gonna say you need a few babysitters on this team when you're in the middle of the rebuild like that.
Yeah, and I've had a few of his teammates say to me, like, they watch him, like how he skates obviously, but how he works in the gym, how he eats, like how he takes care of his body, how he the water he drinks to make sure it's not like he does. He's a they were talking when they sent Arbor Jackeye down to Laval and they said they wanted him to learn how to be a pro. Well, watch Mike Matheson. You'll learn very quickly just by following his lead.
No McDonald's drive-through, nothing like that.
No, maybe for his little son, but not for him.
Well, let us know in the comment section below. Would you trade Mike Matheson, or do you think people are crazy who are throwing that idea out there? And make sure to go to hockeyinsideout.com to check out our full episode.